Andhra Pradesh has played a key and crucial role for the Congress in the last two elections. But the newly created state of Seemandhra and Telangana, will it change the dynamics of the elections? Will it become a game changer, or will it prove to be a nemesis for the Congress in the upcoming elections? Thank you and joining us. Thank you for joining us on India Post Live. Today's topic of discussion at the conversation is about Andhra Pradesh and regional parties in Andhra Pradesh. At India Post Live, India's first interactive web TV which has live and interactive conversations, wants all of you to join in, give your views and your voice, and we would like to know your comments as well. To take the discussion forward, we have two esteemed guests in the studio with us, Mr. K.V. Prasad, who is a senior journalist with the Tribune newspaper, and Mr. Ramakrishna Reddy, who is a spokesperson for the Telangana Joint Action Committee. Thank you both for joining us. We will also have a Skype caller, Ashutosh, who is a student and very keenly observes politics and the Indian elections, in terms of its dynamics. So I would like to ask you, Mr. Prasad, how different will these elections be for Andhra Pradesh and for the fortunes of the three big parties, possibly the Congress, the BJP and the BJP-TDP alliance?
Well, I think the first and foremost thing we should remember that these elections are being held in the backdrop of the decision to bifurcate the state. So that's a very huge sentiment that's going around in both states, whether it is Telangana, where the people are naturally joyous for having got a statehood. That's a decision done. So they are obviously looking forward for a new life. For the people of Andhra, the Seemandhra and the coastal Andhra and Rayalaseema people, it's a residual state, so they have sentiments are different. They feel they have been done, it's a done deal, but not everybody is accepting it as a done deal. They still think there is hope, and that is where you have a former Chief Minister, Kiran Reddy, who's shifted and started his own party. The whole sentiment was that it's not over yet, the game is not over.
Right.
But having said that, I think your primary question comes in from what happens to the Congress and the BJP. Well, let us be clear, the Congress is clearly on a losing ground. Because if you really look at 2004 and 2009, it was a very happy hunting ground for Congress, 32 plus 33 seats. So it actually gave a substantial number of seats to the UPA, which actually helped the Congress form the government.
Right.
Now that advantage is certainly lost. BJP really never existed in that state in that sense of in terms of electoral, it had a presence, but in terms of conversion into seats in the Lok Sabha, it didn't really have much of a presence except one and odd time it made in 99 in Kargil, when you had Kargil and you had TDP and BJP joining hands.
Right.
Well, this time what is interesting we need to look at is how much of the Modi wave which everybody is talking about.
Yes.
What is the impact of that? And I think primarily the TDP is trying to cash in on that sentiment, in addition to the fact that it wants to checkmate YSR Congress in Seemandhra, who had a head start for his United Andhra call. So this is where it looks like.
Okay.
So TDP, yes, it's a regional force which came into play in '93, but since then it has reinvented itself on many occasions. The biggest problem is it seeks to probably ride on two boats, supporting Telangana on one hand,
right,
and Seemandhra, United Andhra on the other.
Okay. Will it be a game wide open, and like Mr. Prasad is saying, it's a game of chess that will have winners and losers, and soon we'll find out who they are. Take a look at this video.
Former CM Y.S. Reddy's untimely death led to his son Jagan revolting against the Congress. UPA had little option but to bifurcate the state into two, Seemandhra and Telangana, hoping the Telangana region will vote for the party. While Jagan's YSR Congress has kept its options open by going it alone, the BJP has tied up with its old friend Chandrababu Naidu of the TDP. Though Congress has superstar Chiranjeevi, it has little chance in Seemandhra due to Jagan and Naidu. Though Telangana Rashtriya Samiti did create hurdles for the Congress by not merging with them, but the party is hopeful of bagging a majority of 17 parliament seats in Telangana.
I can say that is the Congress is going to form the government, the first government in the Telangana state. TRS is the one of the part and parcel of Telangana JSC, and TRS cannot claim the total movement of Telangana.
So which way the tide turn? The division of Andhra into two states has changed the political equation, where both old and new political outfits are fencing their chances.
So it's a game wide open, and we'll have to see what opinion polls are also saying. But here, Mr. Ramakrishna Reddy, you were telling us the senior Congress leadership hasn't really decided whom they'll allot the tickets for the for Telangana region as such. They are soon to decide. How will that decision be taken, and whom do you think will be the big ticket names in it?
They have already taken, they announced the entire list for Telangana yesterday. That is over. But the thing is, unlike in 2004 and 2009, the Congress may not get as many seats as they got in 2004 and 9. They fare well in Telangana because of, since the Congress has given Telangana, that consideration is there. And whereas in Andhra, this time they may not get even a single seat. There in coastal Andhra, the Simandhra, the fight will be between YSR Jagan and Chandrababu Naidu. Whereas in Telangana, the fight is between Congress and TRS.
Right. To bring in Jagan Reddy, what will he be the kingmaker? He hasn't really, he's kept his cards close to himself. He hasn't really put out in the open whom they will ally with or support. So do you think he will turn out to be the big player who will decide, the final decision on whom to go with?
I don't think so, because Simandhra has got 25 seats.
Right.
Now he is doing well in the, even poll predictions also indicating that he will get 15 seats or whatever it is. That is not going to change much, but suppose BJP gets around 250 or whatever it is, if it is short of some, in that event Jagan party is open to support. Whichever party forms the government at the center, they are willing, their cards are open. They say that the Congress has got the choice of forming the government, it will, this thing. They have so far have not made up, because he is in neck deep in the criminal cases. Naturally, he will go with the party which forms the government at the center.
But how much support do you think, will the Telangana, Action Committee, or will the party be able to garner in terms of sentiments, in terms of developmental work? There's a lot that needs to be done really in the region.
The thing is, the Telangana Joint Action Committee, which is spearheaded at the moment, is a federation of 100 and odd groups, social groupings, which include political parties also. BJP was part of it, TRS was part of it, CPI, ML, like that. Outside CPI also supported. And the Telangana Joint Action Committee has so far not taken a decision to support any one political party. They will support candidate by candidate or case by case, because all these parties supported. But one thing they oppose is TDP, though BJP was also part of Telangana Joint Action Committee, since it aligned with BJP, people of Telangana are against TDP, so they may not support alliance. But as I said, case by case, wherever the BJP candidate is there, there is a possibility. But mainly the fight in Telangana is between Congress and TRS. Particularly, there is a district where many settlers from coastal Andhra settled in Khammam district. Is an extension of Krishna district, where the contest will be between Congress and TDP. And BJP has got certain pockets like city, Hyderabad, urban population, and wherever this city localities, it has got strength. But I don't think because of the alliance, votes gets transferred to either way. That happened in '99 also. Right. Though they had an alliance, but votes didn't get transferred.
Right. I just wanted to bring in Ashutosh here. He's been actively following the political scene in India, especially with Andhra Pradesh as well. Ashutosh, would you like to make a comment on what our guests have said? They have a lot of experience in the region, including here. Mr. Prasad has been a keen observer of how things how play out in that region. But with the new bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh, how is it going to change fortunes, especially for students like you who actively and keenly observe the electoral process?
See, firstly, I think that it'll be wrong to analyze, if you're talking about Andhra Pradesh, just to limit the Andhra Pradesh discourse to Andhra Pradesh itself. Because if you look at the electoral history of Andhra Pradesh, particularly in 2004 and 2009, in 2004, Andhra Pradesh sent about 29 Congress MPs, and in 2009, there were about 33 Congress members of parliament from Andhra Pradesh. That was the largest delegation of Congress MPs from any state for that matter. That clearly is not going to happen this time with a virtual clean sweep against the Congress in Simandra. Even in Telangana, which has just about 17, 18 seats, which is a minor portion, there is a clear fight between the TRS and the Congress. So even in the Telangana region, they don't expect to get as many seats. The Congress was very hopeful initially that the TRS would probably go on and merge with the Congress, but that clearly did not happen. The Congress has actually got checkmated in this entire scene. They were hopeful that they would probably be able to rescue some amount of the seats that they probably had from Telangana, but this case was a clear checkmate for the Congress, I would say.
Right,
And
Ashutosh. Right.
and one thing, I think this election in Andhra Pradesh is particularly interesting for one reason. The BJP in this election, even in the non-traditional areas where the BJP does not even exist, where it has been getting single-digit vote shares, this election there's one certainty that the BJP, I'm not too sure about the seats, but one thing for certain is that the BJP will have a vote share in double digits.
Okay. So, interesting inputs by Ashutosh there. Mr. Prasad, what do you have to say in terms of the fortunes or the chances in terms of performance of the TRS? It's going back and forth. It's always had a very volatile relationship, so to say, with the Congress. And KCR actually, after, getting what he wanted in terms of the bifurcation, hasn't really kept his promises of merging with the Congress. So, how will that dynamic play out?
Well, it certainly has an interesting connotation because first and foremost, I think TRS is also playing the game the way it perceives that it could be in an advantageous position once the post-poll scenario emerges. Also remember that this elections, we also have simultaneously to the Assembly of Andhra.
Exactly.
So this is going to be a very decisive election. So TRS per se would also look a future for itself within Telangana.
Right.
Because there's one theory which if you read, in fact, a couple of days ago or a few days ago, we had the interview by the son of Mr. KCR, KTR as he's called, Ramarao, Tarak Ramarao, who kind of said that, look, you tell us that Congress has been our supporter, but they didn't consult us on a many number of steps that in the run-up to the formation of Telangana.
Right.
So this is not how relations are between two friends and stuff like that. So that could be their political argument. But the fact remains, Telangana would certainly, the TRS would like to keep a distinct identity for itself in the post-poll elections because they do anticipate that they're going to reap a rich harvest of seats both in the assembly, if not so much in the Lok Sabha.
Right.
So assembly means you can form a government of their own. So that is going to be a big thing. But having said that, whichever government, I think if Telangana TRS forms a government, which it hopes to do in Telangana state, it will have to align with the party which is at the center. For the simple fact that states have to depend on the center for flow of funds and many other support structures.
Exactly.
So it's not difficult to imagine that any government that needs. The Congress, on the other hand, feel that the sentiment is very high in favor of Congress President per se, Sonia Gandhi, because they feel that it is her commitment to Telangana which converted into the division of the state.
Right.
So they feel that this is, in fact, they refer, if you talk to Congress leaders in private, they always refer to, or even in public nowadays, they refer to the previous election, 09 in particular, where the Telangana Rashtra Samiti got decimated.
Absolutely.
In the sense of electoral, they did not get the seats. If you look at the benchmark, so that's the closest benchmark they offer, because you had the assembly and the Lok Sabha, and they said, look, they just won 2 seats, despite the fact that Congress could not form the Telangana, yet Sonia Gandhi. So it's how, and this is where politics, remember, is a battle of perception.
Yes.
And that is where everybody is out to play with it.
Right. So, Mr. Reddy, would you like to say in terms of the Telangana, Joint Action Committee, how do you think, how crucial will things be after in the post-poll scenario, your role as such in terms of actually garnering the votes and then turning them into, getting the right portfolios, getting, the right leverage as such?
See, we have not taken a decision to support a single party for the reason that many parties were part of Telangana Joint Action Committee. Some of them have joined TRS. TRS has given tickets to 4 of the Joint Action Committee members, and 1 as MP, 4 as MLAs. And the Congress yesterday, day before yesterday, gave tickets to 3 people.
Right.
So, as I said, we will not go by the party, this party or that party. And we will support candidates who have worked for the cause, and in future also who have certain commitment for the development of the region. That way we will go.
What will be the three main issues that you think will get the candidates that you have put up to get elected, in fact?
The people will see the commitment for the cause first, because just the central government has considered this demand and the bill is passed.
Yes.
And people know who has worked for this cause, who has opposed this cause.
Right.
Suppose they have all through opposed, then naturally we will vote against them.
Right.
People will vote against them. Naturally, irrespective of the party who have supported the cause, naturally people will go for it. And social base, so far as social base is concerned, each party has got certain pockets. No party has got, take for instance, northern Telangana.
Yes.
TRS has an edge. In southern Telangana, TRS doesn't have much this thing, whereas Congress has got such. So far as TDP is concerned, particularly in city and Khammam district, they have got a vote bank. Particularly, it has become a party of settlers and OBCs.
Yes. But Khammam is
OBS.
also, always been very neglected. A lot of developmental projects
Khammam
haven't.
is not a backward area. It is a very rich area, because Krishna water goes. The entire district has rich
But they
mineral
have a lot
resource.
of problems when there's heavy flooding. They have issues
No,
with.
there is no flooding in, it is not a coastal district. The thing is a politically more conscious, this thing, left movement is very strong in Khammam and Warangal and these districts. Why TDP has edge means because it's an extension of Krishna district. Many of the settlers from Krishna district came and settled in this thing. And settler population is in much, I'm sorry to use settler, people who came from the other areas and settled there. And they belong to Chandrababu Naidu community. Naturally, they will go with him. Whereas settlers in Hyderabad, from irrespective of the caste, they are apprehending if TRS comes to power, they will be marginalized, some victimization, some such thing. So they will support parties which protects them. So these settlers' votes might get consolidated in favor of Simandra parties. Take for instance YSR party, some of them might choose YSR comes, others might go for TDP.
But sir, don't you think that Jagan Reddy is also losing popularity? He, in his campaign trails, constantly there is criticism. He's had so many cases against him. Chandrababu Naidu has also, tried and portray him as the villain, being corrupt with the kind of money that the family has made. So do you feel his popularity is on a downslide?
I don't think his popularity is on the wane, because he's on the streets for the last three years. He consolidated his position, and these became, there are two dominant communities in coastal Andhra. One is Kamma. The second is Reddy, and numerically Kapus are in, but they are financially not. Right. YSR party is a Reddy centric this thing. Yes. That is a Kamma centric party. Nobody looks at what is their past. That way Chandrababu Naidu is the one who brought crony capitalism into Indian politics.
Yes.
So the only thing is he was not caught. So far as Jagan is concerned, some cases are pending against him.
Right.
So they are polarizing the cause.
Okay.
So the Kapus are decisive, but they could not project any popular Kapu, this thing. That is what Congress is trying by projecting Chiranjeevi. They want to garner Kapu votes. Only people who could not get birth in YSR Congress, they are going towards TDP. Ultimately, these social dynamics matters, and I don't think these cases have any bearing on the electoral. But because just before election, many people, because the Congress people had no choice, they knew that Congress is not going to win in coastal Andhra. Many of them who could not get birth in YSR Congress, they are going towards TDP, and those who are not getting ticket in YSR Congress, TDP, they are going towards this thing. Ultimately, how the people will perceive, it is a matter we have to wait for time.
Right. Mr. Prasad, there has been, like sir is talking about the TDP, there has been supposedly there are reports of a revolt or an opposition amongst many senior leaders of the TDP, with their alliance with BJP. Do you think that will play a role in trying and, spoiling their chances?
Well, it's always a problem in elections, especially in a party where there is an anticipation is going to come back to power, or at least have a substantial number of seats. So this is bound to happen. You see it across any election, you will find this. For instance, even within BJP, in Telangana, there is a revolt.
Exactly.
For post TDP tie-up, So it's not that it's unique to TDP. That's one issue. But I'll just add to what Mr. Reddy said. When he talked about the Kama and the Kapus, in fact, the Chiranjeevi was being projected by Congress.
Yes.
And so the BJP TDP brought in Pawan Kalyan. They couldn't really have a tie-up. Who's younger brother of? So there is an entire effort to try and see how much of you can slice away. But adding to this one factor which probably doesn't get so much discussed, in Jagan Reddy, the advantage that he has is also rural belt, where his father's schemes launched when he was the chief minister, whether it is the Arogyam, Jana Arogyam scheme, so these are issues which people feel directly affect them. Not so much about the fact that you're going to turn the city into either Paris or Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the urban centric.
Yes.
Though, if you really talk to people in Andhra, there is a segment which feels that today Andhra is a division has taken place. So you need a chief minister who can actually develop. And that is where the TDP is trying to push Chandrababu Naidu, showcasing the Hyderabad development model.
Yes.
Like, look, he has done wonders to Hyderabad. So today Andhra is a reality. You need a new city, you need a new capital, you need a new development infrastructure. So he has a tried and tested commodity in terms of a chief minister who has delivered. So this is all the USP each one tries to sell. But Jagan has the popular sentiment, largely because he has a following of his fathers. He has inherited that mantle very well.
Yes.
And his being in incarceration has helped his cause.
Most definitely. Ashutosh, would you like to add in your thoughts and maybe ask a question to either of our panelists?
Sure. I think for Jagan Reddy, it's very clear that he does not want to have any tie-up, any pre-poll alliance as sort, because there are 25 seats in Simandra. He seeks to capitalize on all 25 of them, and he would not want to give away any of his seats. Moreover, for him, a favorable disposition at the centre is essential because of various cases against him by the CBI. So I think Jagan Reddy is basically going to align with whoever forms the government, a quid pro quo being managing the CBI cases against him. Secondly, I think it's also important to realize, to analyze the route of the Congress in this state, the reason for that. If you see, Andhra Pradesh has been a traditional Congress bastion apart from the two elections where the TDP is swept. Even in 1977, post the election, Congress went on to win 41 of the 42 seats in Andhra Pradesh. That was in the height of the emergency. So I think the main reason for this is the Congress high command culture. If you look at it, till the time there was YS Rajshekhar Reddy, the regional Chhatra of Andhra Pradesh, if you could say so, the state was doing well. He was a very powerful leader. He was not one who would simply bow down to the high command orders. But ever since then, the chief ministers who've come in, be it Mr. Rosaiya, be it Kiran Kumar Reddy, these have been very meek figures who don't have much of popular support, but who have actually been high command appointees, if you can say so. And wherever you see this high command culture, you have seen that the Congress is going down. Right. Even in the reason why in Karnataka, for example, that they are still better is because Siddaramaiah is a local leader. He is not one. He is a departure from the Congress high command culture. He is one who actually propelled himself to the post.
Right. But many people and, activists also have been talking about the Lok Satta party also also looking at a tie-up with the BJP. It's always had an anti-corruption crusaders. They've made comments against these bigger parties all this while. So do you feel that sort of makes it a very ironic election scenario in specifics to Andhra Pradesh with the Lok Satta party trying to ally with the BJP?
I think yes, the Lok Satta party was trying to ally with the BJP and get the Mallikarjun seat for Mr. Jaiprakash Narayan. I think that is a positive development because you see, earlier there were talks that the Lok Satta party might actually align with the Aam Aadmi party, but Arvind Kejriwal, it seems, put a condition that they must merge with the party, which was not acceptable to Jaiprakash Narayan. I don't think it's ironical in the sense that it is good that the Lok Satta party actually does participate, because you see, a one-man party can't grow beyond that, and he has to align with either of the parties if he wants to play a bigger role, be it at the state or the centre.
Right. In terms of specifically the assembly elections, what kind of role do you think, Mr. Prasad, will the MIM play with Asauddin Owaisy's leadership? Do you think they will have any kind of an advantage this time around in the assembly elections?
Well, I think MIM had a peculiar problem because it was with the Congress for a long time, and it had to break ranks at one point of time because the politics was not working. They were feeling claustrophobic in the sense many of their works were not being done. Rajshekar Reddy, post Rajshekar Reddy regime, Kiran Reddy was not as receptive to their demands or whatever requests or whatever was required politically or otherwise. So MIM thought itself better to move out of the alliance. Understanding that the MIM traditionally had with Congress for a long time. His father, Sultanuddin Owaisi, also had indirectly helped. So this time around, he moved closer to Jagan. And in fact, if you remember, he went and met Jagan in the jail. So that's where the talk began. And also, I think MIM also was looking at a life beyond Hyderabad and Old City.
Yes.
It in fact wants to look in the neighboring districts,
role.
larger role. And in fact, in I think neighboring Maharashtra, it went and contested some, if I'm not mistaken, some municipal elections.
Yes.
So all this was issues that trying to enlarge their, increase their footprint across the state and what is known as the Hyderabad, Karnataka or Maharashtra borders. So all this is a fact. So MIM has a particular problem, but I think I also need to take you back to one more issue which my co-panelist Reddy had mentioned about Khammam.
Yes.
The Congress has given the seat to CPI in particular because that's where important the left comes in, and the CPI has fielded Mr. K. Narayana, who is the state unit chief. And Khammam is traditionally a very strong left area. It had a very strong labor movement and land reforms and several. Of course, the caste being what it is. So the fact remains, all these are issues. But coming back to your question, assembly is an open game. We don't know yet because Hyderabad is always peculiar mix and match, and I think Mr. Reddy would be better off to answer that question.
Yes.
So far as Lok Satta is concerned, he tried for an alliance with the BJP, TDP combined, but they refused to concede Malkajgiri seat. Therefore, they are going alone.
They're going
Lok
solo.
Solo.
Okay.
And he was the one, Lok Satta was the one who spoiled the prospects of Chandrababu Naidu in 2009 elections.
Exactly.
He represented the settlers' interest in Hyderabad and around Hyderabad.
Okay.
So he fielded all the settlers in 2009 elections by giving ticket to settlers in Hyderabad and Andoran. That cut into vote bank of TDP. That's why he lost many seats. He could not get any seat in Hyderabad, TDP. So far as 2014 election is concerned, again he is fielding. That will only hamper the prospects of Simandra parties, mostly TDP, then it might affect YSR Congress party. And when I come to this MIM influence in Telangana is concerned, their social base is intact. And because Congress, because of alliance with, they got benefit because they used to field Hindu candidates in Muslim localities so that they used to divide Hindu votes and MIM used to get elected. This time also 7-8 seats they will get, but they have influence about overall 15 to 20 constituencies in urban pockets like Mahbub Nagar, Sangareddy, Kamareddy, Nalgonda, and these areas they have a considerable population, but they can influence the overall decision, final decision. They might go for because of the Modi's presence and this thing, they might go with the Congress.
Right. Any last comments from you, Ashutosh? We have to wrap up the show. Any last thoughts on this kind of a game changer election with so many dynamics of smaller parties also trying to play a key role?
I think that the Andhra Pradesh election essentially has been reduced to a very caste-oriented battle, if I may say so, coupled with the division of the states. It's actually very dirty politics that's happening. I think it would be better for the state, the two states being formed both require development. I think what the youth of the country actually wants is a development-oriented politics. And if that can actually happen in Andhra Pradesh, I think that would be good. But in conclusion, I would say that that would be me being too optimistic.
Okay. So on that optimistic note, thank you so much, Ashutosh, for joining us in the conversation on India Post Live. Do take forward the thoughts and comments on our website and our Twitter handle, #@IndiaPostLive, and our website, IndiaPostLive.com. We are India's first interactive news conversation web TV. We want to hear your voices. Any last comments? Just a quick word from you in terms of how crucial this election is going to be. There are multiple dynamics at play. But do you feel that it will be, will the campaign trail get murkier? Will charges be traded in terms of the public rallies that we'll
I
see?
think it's a universal phenomenon. Whenever you're in elections, these things are bound to happen. And just to add a note to my young colleague on the panel, Ashutosh, Indian politics is caste-based. It's been so. We want to move away. That's a very good deal and good idealism. But it'll take a little more time to move away from where we are, because whether you look UP, you look at Bihar, you look at other parts of the way, it's caste driven. So we have not yet moved away from that. We need to move away. I agree. We need to move away. Bihar was the last election in the assembly where people talked about that this is broken ranks and talked about development. So these are shoots, grey shoots, green shoots that we may look at, but it'll take time.
Mr. Reddy, last thought, mainly
Yeah,
on one developmental agenda that the JAC Telangana will put up, so that the voters can really feel confident of going out and putting their vote this time.
That's why we kept ourselves a distance, because by getting a new state, all problems are not going to be solved. The JAC is maintaining its neutrality, so that in future, whatever government comes to bring pressure on them. So far as our panelist has said about the state of affairs in Andhra Pradesh and the role of political parties are concerned, the unfortunate thing is all the parties are now governed by the corporate houses, funded by. Right. Because as I said, it was the Chandrababu Naidu who introduced crony capitalism in Indian politics. Now each party is funded by industrialists. What they expect, they have not joined politics only to further their economic interests. They are funding this. Once their government comes to power, they extract their pound of flesh.
Yes.
That is the unfortunate thing. Now, for the minimum expenditure for an assembly general seat, it has gone up to 10 to 15 crores. For a general parliament seat, it is minimum one has to spend around 30 crores. And who can afford this luxury? And only the corporate liquor barons and land mafia, and who have infrastructure companies, in the name of infrastructure companies, they have created large land banks. They are financing these parties. So that if that particular party comes to power, they want to get favor from them. That is the unfortunate situation, and this will cost very dearly and questioning the Indian democracy itself.
Right.
And the middle class and lower sections have already marginalized. They have no say in politics.
Thank you so much on sharing your thoughts, your comments, your experience, and you have so much knowledge of the region. This is going to be a decisive election for Andhra Pradesh, with the new bifurcation of Seemandhra and Telangana. The public sentiment, which way will the wave blow and who will be the kingmaker? We'll have to wait and see on the 30th of April and 7th of May, with both the Assembly and the Lok Sabha elections being held in that region. Andhra Pradesh is going to make history. Thank you so much for joining us at the conversation at India Post Live. Do take forward this discussion onto our website and our Twitter handle #India Post Live. Thank you for joining us, and goodbye.